Now, Francis Atwoli yesterday hosted another high-level meeting at his residence in Kajiado. But before we go into Kajiado's meeting, I watched a very sad story on NTV, an investigative story by Dennis Okari. Dennis Okari exposed to the entire country how senior government officials in this country, how MPs and senators in this country, and how influential individuals in this country plotted and looted billions and billions of Kenyan shillings meant for COVID. We all know that if there's any time and moment in this country where the government ought to have stood with the citizens, then it is now, during this pandemic. But the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta could not even afford to buy the citizens a single mask, a mask of even 200 Kenyan shillings. The money which was meant for that actually ended up in few individuals' pocket. And my expectation is that when President Uhuru Kenyatta will reshuffle his government, the first cabinet minister who should not come back is Mutahi Kagwe. He must take responsibility. I'm not saying that is involved. I'm just saying let Mutahi Kagwe take responsibility for what has transpired in the Ministry of Health. And I'm going to do a video on this. And I'll focus mostly on the amount of money we've received from donors and how they've been looted. But now let us get back into the Kajiado's meeting. What was the objective of the meeting in Kajiado? For us to understand the objective of that meeting, we need to understand who were present at that meeting. Now, at number one, there was Gideon Moi. For the first time, Gideon Moi was also present at Ndugu Francis Atwoli's residence. Who is Gideon Moi? Gideon Moi is the KANU chairman, and Gideon Moi is also the senator for Baringo. We all know that Gideon Moi and Uhuru Kenyatta entered into some post-election agreement and formed what is now called the Jubilee Coalition. So Gideon Moi was present at that meeting. The second person who was present at that meeting is Peter Kenneth. And you can all remember that recently I did a video that Peter Kenneth is now the new successor to President Uhuru Kenyatta in the larger Mount Kenya region. Peter Kenneth is being groomed. And even the same yesterday, Peter Kenneth received blessings from the Kikuyu Council of Elders. Peter Kenneth was present at this meeting. Then there was James Orengo. Now, the presence of James Orengo at this meeting only confirms to you one thing, that probably there was some legal issues which he was expected to respond to. He's the legal advisor to Raila Odinga and also a working constitution. The next person was Junet Mohammed. Who is Junet Mohammed? Junet Mohammed is equals to Raila Odinga. If you want to read the mind of Raila Odinga, just study what Junet Mohammed is tweeting, what he's posting on Facebook, and what Junet Mohammed is saying publicly. Forget about John Badi, forget about Orengo, forget about the rest. The person who speaks the mind of Raila Odinga in most cases is Junet Mohammed. So the presence of Junet Mohammed in this meeting meant that Raila Odinga was actually in this meeting. The next person who was in here was actually Moka Maure. Who is Moka Maure? The Igembe North Member of Parliament, who is also the Deputy Whip of Jubilee Party in Parliament. Moka Maure is now emerging as a key link between the Kileweke side and this group of Atwoli. So he was present. Who next was present? There was William Kamket. Who is Kamket? Kamket is the Tiati Member of Parliament, a very close ally of Gideon Moi. Kamket is what Junet Mohammed is to Gideon Moi. If Gideon Moi was not in this meeting, and Kamket was in this meeting, then you would have easily concluded that Gideon Moi was actually in this meeting. I want you to listen to Kamket saying something sometimes back, because even the issue of changing the constitution, the first person who spoke about it was Kamket. I want you to listen to Kamket very briefly, then we proceed.
Choke na usiogope na usibabaike na usitishwe kwa sababu uko na wanaume. Hiyo nyumba ya bunge kuna wakorofi ambao wana sabotage mambo ya serikali. Kuanzia next week tukirudi House Business Committee tunabadilisha. Government whip tunabadilisha. Chairman ya committee tunabadilisha. Leader of majority tunabadilisha. Katika Senate na katika National Assembly wote tunafagia. Tunaambia rais leo fagilia. Mnakubali rais afagilie? Hebu nione kwa mkono wenu tuseme rais afagilie. Tuambie rais afagilie. Fagilia chafu yote waende wakatengeneze serikali yao wengine huko. Tukisema tunasema tunabadilisha katiba kupitia BBI, wanakuja kungere rais ngang. Kwani mlikuwa mnafikiri nyinyi ni nani? Sisi tumeamua ni vita mbele. Hiyo maneno ya kubembele sana hapa, hiyo story ya kubembele sana sio mwaka huu wa 2020. 2020 ni mwaka wa kuambiana ukweli.
No, that's Kamket. So you can just make your own conclusion. Then there was Memusi Kanchori, the Kajiado Central Member of Parliament. It's the first time he was attending this gathering. So why was his presence important? I think he's now being elevated to take the face of the Maasais or the interest of Maasais in all these arrangements. But what were the objectives of this meeting? Because if it's lunch, I know it could have been just normal lunch. It could have been just normal, what wanakonywa here and there. And I know someone like Junet doesn't drink. So you can't tell me it was about drinks. Lunch probably, but I also doubt. So this meeting discussed politics. And in my view, these were some of the issues which were discussed in this meeting. Number one is the looming cabinet reshuffle. We all know that President Uhuru Kenyatta sent the entire cabinet home on what he called recess. That for the next few days, all cabinet secretaries, permanent secretaries, the chief administrative secretaries, and those caliber are just going to go home. You don't report to work. And I saw they released some clarifications later, but the fact is the president has sent these people home. So what is the president intending to achieve? I am sure the president is trying to reorganize his government so that when we come back, the government is going to be reorganized in terms of structures. And apart from structures, even the people occupying certain spaces and positions are actually going to be sent home. And it's my prayer that the first person who would be sent home is actually Mutahi Kagwe. Why is Mutahi Kagwe presiding over a health docket which he can't manage? Why is he not telling Kenyans the people who looted this money, the COVID money? So I think the president is likely to reorganize his cabinet. Remember, the president had the 4 agendas. One of them was health. Health is failing. If the president had succeeded in taming and managing this COVID crisis, I'm sure the president's legacy would have been secured. In fact, were it not for these corruption allegations, Kenyans had actually been convinced that the president actually did well in taming and dealing with this pandemic compared to Tanzania. But today, Kenyans are actually laughing at themselves because what Magufuli told them is not proving. I was reading somewhere that actually even the masks, which were meant for Kenyans, which were donated, were looted, stolen, and some taken to Tanzania. So they are laughing at us. So I'm sure the president was planning a cabinet reshuffle. So this team here is the president's team. So they're likely to be part and parcel. So I don't rule out the possibility of this team discussing either the people who have been proposed, whether they are suitable, or they're recommending certain people to the cabinet. So I'm sure that's something which was discussed here. Now, number two, I think this team also discussed the revenue allocation formula. Tomorrow, senators will again try to pass that bill the way it is. The president is adamant that the bill must go through. The president is adamant. His handlers are adamant that this bill is going to go through. But the senators, whose counties are losing, supported by other senators, have said no. They're not going to allow it. And because this bill has failed 6 times or 7 times, its chances of failing again are so high. So I'm sure when these people met at Ndugu Francis Atwoli's home, they discussed everything, all the intrigues, all the drama, and all the scenarios on how this particular matter can be resolved. And that's why Gideon Moi was there. He explained to them what they should do. That's why James Orengo was here. But I don't think whether this team can actually convince the senators otherwise. We all know that Malala is a very close friend to Francis Atwoli. We also know that Francis Atwoli always fondly calls Johnson Sakaja my son. So I don't know whether through that he will be able to convince these 2 individuals to back down. But what I know is that the senators have resolved that they are not going to budge. They are going to oppose the bill. So if these guys discuss this, then let us wait and see. But I'm sure it was also discussed. Number 3, 2022 politics. This team here is actually crafting a 2022 alliance. The scenarios, the people who can be there, the arithmetics, everything. So this team, I'm sure they are discussing all those scenarios. Because if you remember in the last meeting, these guys met alongside. They were actually joined by experts. So what were experts, political experts, doing on this particular matter at Francis Atwoli's home? So basically, these guys are crafting an alliance. And that's why you see Peter Kenneth. Because if it was purely a Senate issue, Peter Kenneth would not have been there, Memusi would not have been there, even Junetu Mohammed would not have been there. And even Moka Maure. So probably you would have seen 1 or 2 more senators present. But I'm sure and convinced that these guys are actually part of a team which is crafting a lineup. And if this constitution which is going to guide that alliance, it is this team. They're looking at the scenarios. This team is coming up with our winning formulas. They're analyzing Gideon Moi. Is it possible that Gideon Moi, because the first meeting, Raila was there with the same team. So I'm sure they interrogated Raila Odinga. How are you going to win the presidency? Can you work with these guys like that? So yesterday was Gideon Moi's turn. So they interrogated Gideon Moi. You want to run for the presidency in 2022. What about Rift Valley? Can you win Rift Valley? And if Rift Valley will not be there, what are you bringing on the table? I'm sure all these were discussed in Kajiado. And lastly, is the Building Bridges Initiative. Don't be cheated. Reggae has not stopped. Raila Odinga stated it very clearly yesterday in Bondo. I think in Siaya, in a Lego Sonka constituency, that some people actually wished him dead. But he's now back on his feet, and reggae did not stop. They are going to continue. I am sure this team, when they met there, they are plotting on the Building Bridges Initiative. And that's why I keep on telling people that Orengo is playing a key role, and his role in all these meetings is to guide on any legal implications. If these guys were to proceed with the Building Bridges Initiative, what are some of the implications legally? That's why Orengo is there. Peter Kenneth, how are you going to deal with the issues of Central Kenya? Peter Kenneth was there. Gideon Moi. What is Gideon Moi's role in the Building Bridges Initiative? So I'm sure all these were discussed in this meeting. But I don't know what you think. And if there's anything you felt this case discussed and have not captured, then the best thing you can do is to let me know in the comment section. And to the subscribers, I want to continue to thank you guys for your continued support. Because without your support, this channel cannot be where it is. It is here today because of the support you give him. So I want to continue just making the same request. Please help me create interactions. How do we do that? We create interactions by just sharing the video, which is the best. Just share this video to your WhatsApp groups, to your Twitter, and even Facebook. But you can also support this channel by clicking by clicking the thumbs up and thumbs down, so that if the thumbs up are high, I know the video is good. If there are few and the thumbs down are high, I know the video was not right, so I can always improve. Thank you guys, and please, I'm working on these t-shirts. Once ready, then I'll let you know how you can purchase them. For those who are interested in supporting the channel, that's the best way. You can also, that's another way you can also support the channel. Just buy the t-shirts. I'll get something small. Of course, sio kitu, but I'll just get something small. And of course, the t-shirts will be out there. It will help us with the publicity. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day.